After losing 3 brutal games in a row and losing another one yesterday, fans are very mad and Sheldon Keefe seems to be on the hot seat. So we're going to break that down and discuss if we think Sheldon Keefe will be fired going forward and what the Leafs' plans are going forward, as well as discuss a couple of rumors that are circulating regarding that. Before we do, a quick reminder to hit that subscribe button. We are on the road to 6,000 and about 80% of y'all who are watching are not subscribed. All right, Darius, another brutal loss yesterday. The Leafs lose again. And I don't even know where to start. Let's just start with the fact that fans are not happy with Sheldon Keefe. I want to get all your opinions in the comment section about Sheldon Keefe, and I'm just going to show a couple screenshots here. You have people like Steve Dangle coming out. You have Sid Seixeiro saying moments like this further illustrate how baffling the Sheldon Keefe extension was prior to the season. Zero need for it, and what has fans so mad was the lineup changes, his consistent lineup changes, and I mean he changed every single lineup ahead of the game yesterday. And Darius, they lost in pretty heartbreaking fashion, I guess. I don't even know how to describe it at this point. But what are your thoughts on this? And then I'll get into some of the fan reactions to Sheldon Keefe.
Yeah, I mean, there's been a lot of talk, like Sheldon Keefe, even on Saturday after that brutal game. Like he was like, the message has been sent after benching a couple of guys like Bertuzzi and Tavares. And I don't know what the message is because they did the exact same thing last night. They lost the exact same way, like the exact same way. And honestly, like maybe one line was playing well that entire game. And I think that's like cause for concern. But if we move to the Sheldon Keefe side of things, I'm just very puzzled now. Like, I don't think he's a bad coach. I'm on the train that he is a very good coach. And usually I look at like things that Sixero says and I'm like, you know what? He's just trying to stir the pot. And
Yeah.
I appreciate that. But at what point do you look at Sheldon Keefe and you're like, all right, he's a good coach, but he's not getting the results and the things we need out of the team. Like the way they lost last night, there's zero pushback, there's zero heart. Like I even tweeted out, I was like, they played with no heart again. Like the way they moved the puck in the final minute, like I don't know if it's a coaching thing or personnel. Like as a hockey player, obviously you want to win, but just the way they were playing and moving the puck, it just seemed like they had something better to do, somewhere to be. I don't know what it is. They're just not playing like they want to be there or the message is being sent. I don't know what it is. Something stinks and they still haven't figured it out. It's just really puzzling to me. Like I said, to clarify, I think Sheldon Keefe is a good coach. In fact, he's like top 5 Leafs head coaches of all times in terms of wins, right? But I just don't know what it is. They got to figure it out. Something needs to change, and maybe it's him because so far everything else has changed except for him and the core four.
Yeah, and usually the coach is one of the first ones to be the scapegoat, especially with this. But this core has not succeeded whatsoever under Sheldon Keefe. And let's get into some of the fans' reactions. A lot of different tweets have blown up. A lot of Leafs fans are up in arms. And if you're watching this video, comment what side of the fence are you on. Do you think it's a Keefe fault? Do you think it's everyone's fault? And this guy, Corey, says it's time for a coaching change. It was time for a coaching change after the Montreal series. It was time for a coaching change after the Tampa series. And it was time for a coaching change after the Florida series. It's time for Sheldon Keefe not to coach this team. And I don't know if I agree with all those points. Let's just go for him. Another one, fire Keefe. At this point, we'd be better off without a coach behind the bench. People are very upset. And then Steve Dangle basically came out and said that Keefe's getting a lot of heat for this lineup, and it's random. My guess is a shakeup like this doesn't happen without management agreeing that this group needs to wake up, and I tend to agree with that. And people are also upset, Darius, with the kind of viral TikTok where he basically praised Makar, Taves, and that line. I mean, and McKinnon, that line there on the Avalanche saying, and people are saying, Keefe, you have a similar line. You've had Tavares, you've had Nylander, you have Austin Matthews, obviously Matthew Nyes, I wouldn't consider him there. I don't know what to even think at this point. Fans are really mad. I'm pretty mad. You're definitely mad. I think at some point he needs to be. Something needs to change with this team, and I can't do it at this point by a roster move. Really, there's no roster move big enough that is going to help them propel. They could get the best player out in the market. They could get Noah Hannafin. They get any of these guys. But if the team keeps playing like they're playing now, and the top guys are not performing, and we're not even going to get into William Nylander kind of struggling since that contract has been signed. That'll be for another day, but. It's just horrible. It's really bad right now for the Leafs, and I think Keefe might end up being, I don't know if it's scapegoat is the word, because I mean, a lot of it is you can put on him, or you can find a way at the very least to put it on him.
Well, I'm glad you brought up that one part about praising the other team's players like Makar and stuff from Colorado on Saturday night. I personally am sick and tired of the Leafs coach praising other teams and saying, oh, it's okay that we lost because, they have some really good players there and the bounces didn't go our way. I hate that stuff. You want to win every game. Where's the competitive fire in that? It's absent. And I'm sick and tired of, like, I'm going to point it out, but I see it a lot on the ice. Mitch Marner does stuff like after the whistle, like giving guys their sticks back and stuff like that if they've dropped it. What are you doing? Where's the competitiveness? Like, what happened to, defeat does not lie, easily or whatever it is on their shoulders to the Toronto Maple Leafs, right? Where did that go? Like they have completely lost that. They got guys like Bertuzzi and Domi to come in and shove guys around. When they are not doing stuff like that, it is obvious that this team is too easy to play against. And that has been the story for years. And it looks like it's going to be the story again this year because I know it's January and Stanley Cups are not awarded in January, but the way it's going right now, like you mentioned as well, the lineup needed a little bit of a shakeup. They need to wake some of these guys up to get going because a lot of them look like they're sleeping through some of these games.
Yeah, they are. The games are very badly played right now. And this is from IM Hockey. This is not a reputable reporter, but he does say that the Leafs ownership, president, and GM are having a meeting this morning, early afternoon. Looks like his coaching change is coming. Stay tuned. Nothing ultimately came of that yet. And again, take that with a grain of salt. He's not a reporter or anything like that, but he's. I think he's got a couple things right in the past. I mean, I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if Keefe just gets sent away just because I don't know what other choice they have at this point. Obviously, this is Brad's for living. He's brand new to the Leafs, but I don't know what moves he's expected to make if this core just continues to play really bad. And then, I mean, we had Pontus Holmberg. He played great yesterday on that first line. He got a goal, and we still lost. You have Nylander, the Marner thing. Yeah, Marner's been horrible the whole season, given what his expectations were. I don't know if horrible is the word. And then Nylander's kind of been on a bit of a cold streak since the contract was signed. At what point when do you think if they're going to fire him, do they do it? Do they give him another 5 losses in a row before they do it? Or do you hope they just solve the problem and the team figures it out like they haven't done actually for the past however long, decade plus?
I'm glad you brought this up. And I know it sounds cliche because we say it every week, but this week is huge for the Toronto Maple Leafs, okay? They play the Oilers next, who've won a franchise record 10 straight in a row, okay? So that's going to be a huge test. They play Calgary. Calgary isn't as bad as they were at the start of the season. They're kind of figuring things out. They do the whole road trip, right? They're going to play Vancouver, one of the best teams in the NHL, on Saturday, and then it's a back-to-back with Seattle the next night. 4 games that are going to be hard. They're going to be tough. So if Sheldon Keefe, is going to get let go, I think this is a very interesting stretch of games and interesting week to see how the Leafs play and respond. I think the biggest thing is how the Leafs respond. You're going to lose games. That's just a given. But if you're trying every night and you're putting your heart into it, then at least you can, have some pride in that, right? And you're like, okay, at least the team cares and we can build off things like that. But the way they've played the last 2 games and the way they've given up leads the last 3 games in a row, it's concerning. So I think the end of this week will tell a lot about where Sheldon Keefe stands. Obviously, they signed him to that contract extension, which was it's looking very odd now because if they are going to get rid of him, like he still has another year on his contract. That's weird. But there are a lot of interesting, coaches available right now in the market. Craig Berube just got let go by the St. Louis Blues, Stanley Cup championship coach. So there are options. I think this week is going to tell a lot for the Leafs.
Yeah, and let us know, I guess, if you do think Keefe should be fired, who should replace him. I'm sure we'll have another video if I don't want to say it's going to happen for sure, but if he starts to get rumored of being let go, I'm sure we'll have a cover with that. But that'll wrap up the video. Let us know what your thoughts are on that. I know a lot of fans out there are very upset, very mad, and rightfully so. The Leafs have been pretty bad the past, really most of the season. But that'll wrap it up. Thank you guys for watching. See you tomorrow.